Good evening. How are we doing today? Are we good or good? Okay, so really quickly, I'm excited to know that is not me in the photo. I know you all are looking like, that doesn't look like Neal. No, we don't all look alike, okay? All right. So before we get started, do I have permission to speak to you all like family? Yes or yes? Yes. So hold on. I know some of you are like, Neal, you don't know my family. Okay? So here's the family member I want to speak to you like, right? I don't want to speak to you like your mom or dad, right? No one wants someone shaking their finger at them, telling them what they should do. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to talk to you like your annoying brother or sister, and some of you are the annoying brother and sister, right? I want to talk to you like the uncle that shows. So I'm from Alabama, and we'll talk about that. So there's my twin. He just came in the door. That's Stas. Everyone say, hey, Stas. Now we are the same person, just in two different beings, right? And so I want to talk to you like the uncle that shows up at the family reunion. You all know the uncle that shows up at the family reunion where the adults are like, who invited him? But all of the nieces and nephews are like, oh, we can't wait to talk to him. He's here. And so that's who I want to talk to you as. So now I'm going to ask you all the question again. Do I have permission to speak to you like family? Yes. Okay. Now, can everyone understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Yes. Okay. And so the reason I ask is English is my second language. The problem is I don't have a first one, right? And so that does have some challenges. I mentioned I am from this third world country called Alabama. And so in Alabama, we don't speak English. We speak Alabamanese, okay? So for a quick moment, I'm going to speak to my ladies, my women, my female. I'm going to speak to you all first, okay? So part of my vocabulary, my vernacular from Alabama is I say you guys, okay? I might slip and say you guys. Ladies, if I slip and say you guys, are you all understanding that I'm not being exclusive? I'm being inclusive to everyone. Are you ladies okay with that? Yes. Fellas, you all looked up, because if they were not okay, I was just going to say ladies all day, because no one cares what we think anyway, right? Okay, and so we're here. We're doing this thing. How many of you have learned something new today? How many have learned something new today? Right? And so some of you are sitting next to someone like, I'm glad you finally learned something. All right? How many of us are at that verge of where we're like, all right, I've learned so much. I have all these ideas, these tools. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to implement. Right? And so some of us are there. So I have been affectionately called a tech-tard. Right? And so listen, I'm a tech-tard. So a tech-tard, to be nice, politically semi-correct, that just means that I don't get tech as quick and as fast as everyone else. So I got the phone call, Neal, we're having TechCon 2026. We want you to present. I looked at my wife. I said, baby, Jason has called me and asked me. She was like, oh, you should say no. You should say no. She's like, you don't know tech. You don't know AI. And that's my lovely wife right back there. Wife, just say hey to everybody. Wave at everyone. Yes. So I don't know tech, but I can sail. I can sail. Okay. And so I was like, well, what do you want from me? He's like, just do your thing. I'm like, oh, go and offend people? I don't want to do that. That's not technology based. And so what we're going to look at today, we're going to look at this thing called high tech, high touch. And so there is no formal Q&A session. You all, if you want to interrupt me and ask questions, I think we have a mic. You all want to take my time, you can even come up here on stage. But here's the purpose, and here's what I want to start with. What's the purpose of technology? Oh, wrong answers only. What's the purpose of technology?
Make us money.
Make us money. That's a great one right there. Someone like, well, I must be using the wrong tech because I ain't making no money, right? And so for those of you who laugh, right, that's the human response. Like, that's real. We're like, man, we're learning all this stuff, but I'm not making more money. What's the purpose of technology, ladies and gentlemen? Make our job easier, do it faster. But how many of you, tech has complicated your life? You're like, this is supposed to be easier. It's not easy, not easy, easier. But I'm burned out on tech. What's the purpose of tech, ladies and gentlemen?
You have to update yourself.
To update yourself, to be more, like, so ultimately, here's what I want you all to think. When we say tech, I don't know what you hear when I say tech. I just mean technology. So how many of you remember when the beeper was technology? How many of you remember when we stepped it up and we got the two-way pager, right? Where you could send the message back. And then we got to be individuals and we shared different colors. And I'm like, oh, mine is see-through, all right? How many of you remember when the bag phone was technology? Oh, now don't raise your hand. You're showing how old you are. Jeez. Okay, how many of you remember when fax machines were technology? So I don't know what your definition of technology is, but technology, in my opinion, has one goal and one purpose only. And I'm a simple guy. I'm from Alabama. Now, that's not why I'm simple. I'm simple for a number of reasons. Being from Alabama is one of the underlying reasons that I'm simple. Anyone else here from Alabama? Yeah, I wouldn't raise my hand either. It's okay. So, here's my belief, the purpose for technology. The purpose for technology is to close the gap, whatever the gap is. And so what we're going to do today, we're going to go from high tech to high touch. And all high touch is, how do I close the gap? Whether the brokers are talking or previous speakers or sponsors, or you're going into the Oasis, the question that you want to ask is, how do I use this thing to close the gap? Because if you can't close the gap, we are already at a disadvantage. So we hear automate, 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 make it easier, make it faster, make more money. The one thing that we have not figured out how to automate yet is what? Oh, this is the fast section right here, just because you're like, I was in the fast reading group, right? What's the one thing that we have not learned how to automate yet? Trust. And so if you came to TechCon this year looking how to automate trust, I'm not in charge of refunds, but you should not have signed up. We have not figured out how to automate trust yet. What we have figured out, and what you all have heard, and what you see, and what you have access to, are to people, to minds, to resources, and tools that can help you automate the things that lead to trust. What are some things that lead to trust, ladies and gentlemen? Communication. Are there tools that can help us communicate better, more consistently, more frequently, make it sound as if we speak more than Alabamese? Yes, there is. What else helps automate or move towards trust? What else besides communication?
Meeting face to face.
Face to face, right? So everyone say high tech. Say high touch. How many of you are high touch people, right? Now, if you're sitting next to someone high touch, and you might want to scoot over just a little bit, say, hey, keep your hands to yourself, Jason. Come on, right? So some of us, we're using tech, or is tech using us? So we're moving towards being able to automate trust. That is our goal in everything we do. So this is the reality that all of us are faced with today. We have the reality. How many of you have more tools or have access to more tools right now than you could ever use? Right? How many of you go into whatever your company or your brand or your association or the MLS's dashboard, and you just open up and you look, you're like, MLS, right? That's what we do. That's our default position. Why? Because we have more tools, we have more platforms, we have more information, more automation, more noise, more emails. How many of you need more stuff in your life right now? We don't. Right? We're trying to get stuff to get rid of some of the stuff, but first we've got to get the stuff that makes the stuff work so we can get rid of some other stuff. So we can have more room for more stuff, right? And so here, that's a reality. And it sounds crazy in here, and we laugh about it until we realize that's our reality. And we come in and we say, I thought I was in the selling business. I thought I was going to be helping people. I thought I got in this to make a living. I did not know I got into this thing and went to TechCon just to be overwhelmed more than when I signed up. So now, here's what we have. Here's a reality that we must accept. A reality is that it's not access to information. It's not access to tools. It's all about how we apply them. How we apply. What does AI stand for? I think that AI stands for applied intelligence. Can you apply the intelligence that you have at your fingertips? Can you apply the tools that you have? Some of us are looking for a brand new tool, and the 5 tools that we've already paid for are sitting there like, just use me. I can help you. I can do the thing. So now we're going to look at usable application, applied intelligence. What does that look like in your business? And so I'm not going to give you all any new ideas. My job is to give you maybe a different perspective on what you've already heard, what you've already learned, and maybe some things that you are implementing or that you are on the fence about implementing. So my opinion, how many of you are researchers and like to think and plan before you do? Do we have any of those people in the room? Okay. How many of you are like, let's give it a shot and see what happens? So I am of that group there. So I am one of the individuals who I just believe in, we just ship faster. That's ship with a P, ladies and gentlemen. Don't say, it was Alabama-nese. Did you hear what he said? No, ship. I believe in just shipping faster. And so I get to the second, third, fourth iteration while my planners are still planning and choosing which technology they're going to implement. So I want us to realize that I don't want you to have tool overload. I don't want you to have inconsistent follow-up, because the goal is not having technology. The goal is having usable technology that helps us make more, whatever it is. It could be more money. Some of you don't want more money. Some of you just want more freedom. Some of you just want more peace. Some of you just want less people bothering you, right? And that might be peace, and that's a different story. But now we start looking at our lives, our businesses, and we start asking how disconnected. How many of you have a lot of tech that is operating in its own silo, but it's not connected? Right? I know Ant mentioned this earlier. You've got files in OneDrive and Google Drive. You've got stuff over here in hard drive and no drive and reverse. Because it's not drive, y'all get. This is the fast group right here. Okay, so the issue is not tech. And so here's what I want us to understand. Technology is a tool. Now, how many, do we have anyone here from the Northeast? Anyone here from, so when I say tool, I'm not talking about whatever, how y'all say what a tool is. I mean a thing that you use, right? Don't call a person a tool. But technology is the tool. Technology is not the strategy. What is the strategy, right? The strategy is connection. If you are not using all of the great ideas, all of the things to get to connection, what are we doing it for? Some of you are using tech to your detriment. You are so tech heavy that you're replaceable, right? Why? Because as the broker said, you sound just like every other agent. You sound like every other real estate professional. And so I want you all to remember that as we go through this high tech, high touch, our goal is to have connection as the strategy and not just tech for the sake of having tech. Here's what high tech, high touch means. We want to use modern tools for some very clear purposes. And these 4 purposes right here are going to be what makes the difference from a real estate agent and a successful real estate professional. 1, more present. Right? How can we use tech to be more present? Number 1, maybe some of you just aren't physically present at all. We could use calendar apps. So you all scheduling your time, or we time blocking, right? Are we using tech? And when I say tech, it could be just your Google Calendar. It might be some AI agent who's doing all of this for you. The tool is not what's important. What's important is the end goal, the result that we are trying to achieve. So we see more present, more consistent. Anyone here ever forgot something? Anyone ever forgot a meeting that they're supposed to have with the client tomorrow at 1:15 in Miami? Never mind. Just more consistent. What would happen if you were just more consistent in your business? If you automated some things? And so for me, I'm going to say a dirty phrase here, and especially coming from me, I probably shouldn't say it. Should I say it? Yeah. Of course you all don't love me, right? I am a slave to my calendar, right? And so she's like, I see why you said you shouldn't have said that yet. Coming from a different speaker, it would be okay, right? For you, woo, that guy right there. So I'm a slave to my calendar. I'm a slave to my scheduling app, to my scheduling assistant. Why? Because it makes me more consistent. How can we use tech to be more relevant? So I believe in finding out what is relevant in the marketplace, but I don't want an AI bot being my voice. But I can use technology to be relevant. I'm researching. I'm going to ask you, how relevant are you? Like, what are the concerns of your buyers, of your sellers, of the customers, clients, and prospects that you have? Do you know what they're searching? right? We can get, like, we have an overload of information available to us that we just don't know how to use. And then more personal, right? The idea of using an AI assistant to make your life or your connections more personal seems far-fetched. So when I think of AI, I think of the movie I Am Legend. No, not I Am Legend, I, Robot. Which one is it? It's the robot with Will Smith and where the robots take over and they turn red, right? So if I have any tech creators right here, choose a different color than red, right, for your lights and stuff, because I immediately think that my tech is going to take over and that it's going to try to kill me with a blender or something, okay? So how can we use technology to be more personal? So this is where the touch framework. How many of you like to be touched? Oh, this has nothing to do with the presentation. I'm just asking in general. I just want to know what kind of audience I have here. Some of you are like, I don't like to be touched, right? Post-COVID, give me my 6 feet. So here's the whole idea of the touch framework. So we want to use high tech, but we also want to touch, because here's what I will tell you. Your customers, clients, prospects, guess what they do? They love to be touched. And some of you have not touched the people that you're going to ask resources from. You're going to ask them to trust you, and you have not touched them, you've teched them. So they don't know you from me. And that is the challenge in what we're doing today. So when we look at this touch framework, take responsibility for the relationship, right? And so the reason I have this, yes, it's catchy, but I'm also from where? Alabama. I got to make things super, super simple. Here's how simple I have to make it. I was having a conversation with my friend Gavin. Gavin, just wave at everyone. Yes, he's my doppelganger. So like, I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's Danny DeVito, okay? Stand up for me, please, Gavin. I just want them to see why I call you Danny DeVito and I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. Obviously, right? Come on. No self-esteem issues here, okay? So I want to make this so simple that we can explain it to a 5-year-old who can then explain it to a 5-year-old. If we don't know it that well, then we don't understand what it means to be touched. So we're going to take responsibility for the relationship, organize your opportunities, use technology to stay visible, customize the experience, and then humanize every touch point. So here's what it looks like to take responsibility for the relationship. How many of you care about your customers and clients? I'm going, no, look, you made the assumption that everyone cares. Can I tell you a secret? Some people got in real estate, they care about themselves and their commission checks, right? And so, how many of us care about our customers, clients, prospects, right? All right, we're not grading, okay? But here's the thing. When we look at this, how many of you have forgotten about the customers, clients, and prospects that you care about? It's not because we're bad people. It's because we don't have a system for it, right? And so one of the questions we're going to ask is the tech that I'm using going to help me take responsibility for the relationship? How many of you have family members that you love, that you care about, that you see them and you say, we're gonna stay in contact, I'm sorry, I apologize, I'm sorry I disappeared on you, and then you say the same thing next year when you see them. And then the next year, high touch, right? If we cannot focus on, and the whole idea that it has here talks about drift. We know the danger of drift. It doesn't just happen. Anyone here willing to admit that they've been in the industry more than 5 years? More than 6 years? More than 10 years? I'm a beautiful young people. Okay. So for those of us who have been in the industry 5+ years, we have forgotten about the people who's helped build our business, not because we're bad people, not because we don't care about them, but simply because of drift. And so now taking responsibility for the relationship means that we're going to leverage the high tech so that we can touch people, physically, and not literally. Figuratively. There we go. Alabama. I would tell you all that I was in the top half of my class, and it was true, but there were only 20 people in my class, all right? So some of you are like, dang, how bad was number 20? My cousin, he was okay. Here's what taking responsibility for the relationship looks like in practice, okay? So, follow-up calendar. It's nothing new. How many of us have heard from Uncle Jim Rohn? How many of you know Uncle Jim Rohn? Do we know Uncle Jim? Uncle Jim Rohn would say often people need to be reminded more than they need to be instructed. And so I tell you here, follow-up calendars. Are we using CRMs? right? Taking responsibility for the relationship means that we're going to put information into the CRM other than just when we have a transaction. We're going to write notes on people, not just on properties. If I ask you for your notes on your listing or the properties that your buyers are interested in, you could probably show me a notebook full. But what if I ask about your customer or client or prospect, their birthday, anniversary? What if, because the whole goal for the high tech is so that we can have high touch, take responsibility to humanize this transaction and the relationship? And then weekly check-ins. Organizing our opportunities. Now that we have taken responsibility for the relationship, we're going to organize our opportunities. You see the sub-phrase here where it says a messy database is a missed income problem. How many of you have heard that you need more leads, that you need more leads, that you need to get more leads? We've heard that before. What if I told you that you probably don't have a lead issue? So now some of you just have a lead generation issue. You have 0 leads. That's not going to work, right? Others of us, we've done business. We don't have a lead issue. We have a follow-up issue because we have not organized our opportunities. And so what are the opportunities? These are the opportunities that I'm thinking about when I say high touch. How many of you have people in your phone, in your database right now that if they heard from you, if you gave them a call, sent you a text message, they would probably be likely to answer or respond to your text? How many of you have people in your database that they would answer you, respond to you, but you have not reached out to them in 6 months? That's the part right there. Organize your opportunities. And so if you don't have a high-touch system, a high-touch plan, then may I give you the good and bad news. The good news is that there's opportunity there for you. There's untapped potential. The bad news is that every day that goes by that you do not take advantage and organize your opportunities, we're losing money. We are out of sight, out of mind, and then they're going to run into someone who says, yeah, I have tech, I know AI, but I can call you, I can text you, I can check in with you. So we want to organize our opportunities. How many of you sort and qualify your database? Oh, you know, this is a real question right here. This is a real one. Okay, so most of us don't. So here's what, and so, right, we like, how do we not? So start simple. Use AI, use tech. I don't care what it is, but segment your people. How many of you are spending way too much time with the wrong people? Not today, not today, not today. Oh, okay, woo. Justin almost raised his hand. Don't raise your hand, Justin. Oh, Justin, would you stand up for me, please, sir? Danny DeVito, have a seat, sir. Have a seat. See, look, another Danny DeVito. No, stand up. I want you to stand all. How tall? 6'4"? 6'4"? 6'10"? I don't believe you, sir. No, don't. You're trying to make me look bad. Sit down, man. Come on, dude.
We got that on video too. I'm gonna see that.
I didn't realize you was here.
Hold on now, I do have a question. How many of you were clapping for him because of his height, or you all gave me that console clap, right, to make me, hey, you're like, oh my gosh, his self-esteem is just going down. Thank you so much, Justin. Get out of here. Bye. Many of us are spending a disproportionate amount of time with the wrong people because we don't know who our good people are. Do you know who your dream relationship is? Do you know? If you know who your dream relationship is, are they getting the amount of time that they should and attention from you? If not, what's the point of your tech? What's the point of being able to send customized and high value information if you're sending diamonds and gold and pearls to pigs? What's the purpose? Right? And so many of us, we need to go in. Who are your active clients and customers right now? Are we talking to, having conversations? Are we touching the right people today? Or are we just touching someone who is really a nurture later, but we saw them jump in and look at the first property in 6 months, and now we're like, hey, I see that you're ready to buy. You're ready to buy, you're ready to buy, ready to buy. I can help you buy and sell. Refer? No, I'll just drive to Miami, right? Active now, nurture later, past clients. I don't like to call them past clients. I like to call them raving fans, right? Your past clients, you all have seen the stats, right? 90+% are either our past clients or referrals from past clients. Are we spending the right amount of time there? So I'm just going to encourage you, when we talk about organizing our opportunities, stop giving your pearls to pigs. Are you all with me? Okay, so now organizing, went backwards. Use technology. So now that we have taken responsibility for the relationship, now that we have organized our opportunities, we're going to use technology to stay what? Visible. And when I say visible, I know many of you are going to disagree with me, right? But here's what I'm going to say. I need to see your face, hear whose voice? Your voice. Now, we're going to use AI, we're going to use tech, but we don't want it to use us. You all heard Jason mention here. He was like, man, sometimes we don't know who the heck we're talking to. How do we, and those are going to be challenges. Well, how do we make sure that people know they're talking and listening to us? Let them have more of us consistently. Do we have anyone in here using video? Are you all using video of your face and your voice consistently? Here's what I'm going to tell you all. If you are not, we talk about building trust, how we cannot automate trust. You see, visibility builds familiarity. Familiarity builds trust. The fastest, easiest way to get someone to know you, like you, and pay you, trust you, is going to let them see you, hear you. The easiest way to do that is with video. How many of you don't like the way you look or sound on video? I don't. How many of you don't like the way you look or sound on audio? I don't. My mom said I had a face for radio. I'm still. Mom, be quiet. Shh, don't tell them. So here's the thing. No one cares if you don't like how you look or sound. They don't. Why? Because they don't like the way they look or sound either. What are they saying though? Here's someone that is professional enough, comfortable enough, authentic enough to share what I need even through vulnerability. And so when I say use tech to stay visible, we're going to look at what that looks like practically. But the first one I'm going to say, I need you, your future you, your bank account needs you to put yourself on camera, 100%. I don't care if you stutter, stammer, if you speak Alabamaese, we can do a podcast together, right? But I need you because here's the thing. There are people right now, if they don't use you, they're going to use someone who has lower ethics and no morals. And then we're going to have to answer for that at some point in our lives. Okay? And so that's what. So now, let's look at what it looks like to use visibility tools that actually work. One, short form video. I don't know, are you all aware about that AI and the searches and the way it's showing up, that more people are using AI and chat bots just to do searches now, right? So they're not using Google as much. They're asking all of these large language models, all these AI assistants for results. What's the number one driver of their responses? Short form video, right? So IG shorts, YouTube shorts are just increasing the rank of your likelihood to show up in those search results. So use short form video. And when I say short form video, if you're not on YouTube, if you're not on IG, I'm not telling you to get on there. How many of us are on Facebook? Are we still using Facebook? Guess what? I hate Facebook, but my customers and clients love Facebook. So guess what? I love Facebook. Some of you are making emotional and personal decisions. You need to start making business decisions. I abandoned the platform about 6 months. My business started going down. I jumped back on in 3 days. I was like, yep. But I did jump back on because my wife told me to. And so now all of a sudden I'm married to a genius, I guess, right? And so short form video, messaging. How many of you are using Facebook Messenger? Are we using Facebook Messenger? Are you all sending videos in Facebook Messenger? When was the last time you received a video message from someone? Here's the thing. We all receive text messages. We all receive emails. If I want to slide into someone's DM, if I want to guarantee their attention, if someone were to send you a video message right now across any platform, text message, IG, Facebook, if they sent you a video message right now, what are you going to do? You're going to look at the video message right now while I'm talking. Why? Because it's so rare for us to see. Did you just send me a video? Oh, okay. So why? Because now we all get text message. We can say the text message can wait. But if you can do short form video, personalized video messages, this is the way that we turn high tech into high touch. It's nothing new. We just don't feel comfortable enough to do it. So then we sell ourselves on why we shouldn't. Well, no one else is doing it. I didn't do my hair. I didn't do my hair this morning either. Look, it didn't bother me. Email commentary, social content with purpose, and then AI assisted content creation. And so everything up here, can you do it? Yes. Should you do it? What's the answer? Yes. It depends. Right? Here's why it depends. Because I'm not going to tell someone who is a tech tard like myself to jump on IG or YouTube and do the shorts. But if you're on Facebook, send a message. Right? Happy birthday. Don't just do the one or the HBD. Do a video message. What happens once you send a video message to someone on their birthday? Do you all know? You immediately join the ranks of mom, aunt, grandma. I can't think of a better circle to be in than that. Right? How many of you have ever heard or have ever had a customer or client, you started doing something with them, but then they had a friend who was in real estate, right? You all have had that, right? Well, how many of you got frustrated by the friend in real estate? Do you know why you got frustrated by the friend in real estate? Because you're not the friend in real estate. So many of you don't need to have more clients, customers, or prospects. You need more what? Friends. And so friends check in with friends. So I send all of my friends messages. And so here's what I want you all to see. We hear post. Posting is not the same as connecting. And so when we say high tech, are you using the tech to shorten the gap, to close the gap? That's what we want to do. So if you will take away from today, what did I hear from this person? What did I hear from that person? I was in this session. How can I use that to close the gap? How can I use that to increase the touch? If I can go from posting to connecting, that's how we know we win. Because it talks about content, support, and connection, but it does not replace conversation. I had a beautiful conversation today that only happened because of, yes, the connection, but the connection happened, and then that opened up the opportunity for conversation. So we have taken responsibility for the relationship. The O was organize our opportunities. Cecilia, I knew it was going to be you, right? The U, use technology to expose or to gain visibility. And now the C, customize the experience. How many of you are tired of seeing and hearing the same thing over and over and over and over again? Yes? That's why they brought me in. No, right? No, but we're tired of seeing and hearing the same thing over again, but then what do? We just jump into the madness. We just post and share and do the same thing over again when we have the ability, the opportunities to make sure that we are relevant. So generic gets ignored, relevant gets remembered. How many of you are remembered by your clients and customers right now? And I'm not talking about like in your head, I think we all think we're more famous than we really are. But there are these 4 R's that help us when it comes to customizing the experience. The first R is to always be ready. Right? Are you ready right now to do a marketing consultation? Right? And we might call it a listing presentation. If someone came in right now and said, hey, I have a $6 million property, I need a marketing consultation, are you ready? Many of us are not. Right? So the first R is going to be ready. The second R is going to be resourceful. How resourceful are you? If I needed a POV, we call it professional opinion of value, you might call it a CMA. If I needed a POV right now, could you deliver a quality POV inside of a marketing consultation or a buyer consultation in the next 5 or 6 minutes? If not, you're not ready, right? And this is where we look at what can tech do. It can help us customize the experience. The third R is resilient. How many of you believe that real estate is hard and challenging? It can be. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. Are you resilient enough to let your customer or client enjoy the highs while you help them endure the lows? If not, we have to be ready. And then the last one is remembered. What are you remembered for? Right? What is that residue that's left when on the relationship after the transaction is over? So my goal is to be remembered once we're done today. And it's not for anything silly. It's not for a bow tie. It's not for being the sexiest man alive, even though all of those are true. Right? Right? Okay, thank you. Okay, I only needed one yes. Okay, so I want to be remembered for the right reason. And so I have to ask, well, are you being remembered by your customers, clients, prospects for the right reason? Are they going to say, she had all the technology, she had the apps? Or are they going to say, she took me through this transaction, she took care of me when I was worried, when I was fearful, she was there for me. And that's what we want to be remembered for. So now we look at that whole customization in action. So when we talk about customize the experience, what does that look like? Personalized video follow-up. You all are going to see video over and over again. When you finish a consultation, when you finish a phone call, how many of us are used to sending emails for a recap? Guess what? We don't like reading. Right? I know what you said. I was just there. But if you were to do a quick video recap, a quick video follow-up for them, guess what they're going to say? Ooh, that's nice. And here's how I know. How many of you have gotten a video follow-up from anyone that you've done business with in the past 6 months? We don't do it. It works on us. We just don't do it. And so I'm telling you all, if you look at what you already have access to, so it doesn't have to be it does need to be a smartphone, but if you're a dumb user using a smartphone, is the phone never mind, different conversation. Client-specific market updates. AI drafts refined with your voice. How many of you are using some type of large language model, whether it's Chat, GPT, how many of you have done the work of putting your personality into and training your AI, right? And so for me, that's the part. So I know sometimes it does its own thing and it spazzes out, but so do you, right? And so this is where we have to make sure that, yes, we use it, but can you put your own voice into it? Does it know how you think? Does it have enough content? So for me, the fastest way to do it is to take all of your short videos, you're going to put those links in there and let AI learn who you are that way. And then notes that guide better conversations. If you all don't have some type of note-taking app or somewhere where you're putting in all of the information about your clients, customers, prospects, you are doing yourself a disservice. Your future bank accounts need you to be able to capture information on your clients that's going directly into your CRM. And you all notice, I'm a tech tard, so I'm not telling you all where to and who to and how to, I'm just telling you what to. There are plenty of people who are smarter than me. Now, they're not as good looking as me, but they're smarter than me, so you all can go to those smart people and figure that out. And then finally, humanize every touch point. Technology is not the differentiator. And you see here, the future belongs to people who can stay human while using modern tools. Is that you? So if I have a consultation or a meeting with you, do I still feel like I know you, that we're closer at the end of our 30, 45, hopefully if it's cash, 15 days, right? I'm going to speak it over you. I'm like, oh, yes, we could be very close after 15 days cash transaction, right? So is the transaction going to be human or is it going to be mechanical? Here's what humanization looks and feels like. Warm, timely, sincere. Are you sincere in your interactions? If you are not sincere, how many of you can, we have this thing called a BS meter. You all know what a BS meter is, right? It's bull stuff, okay? How many of you have a BS meter that's finely tuned, right? You can just smell it from a mile away, as we say, right? Our clients and customers do too. They can tell if something isn't sincere. If you draft that email or if you put the prompt in and it comes out and then you just send that prompt and they're like, ooh, I had 3 of those today. Excommunicado, right? You're no longer in my database. So don't let technology make you easier to ignore. You all see the background here, just blurred, just foolishness, just stuff going on. And then this is where, if we aren't careful, we can allow technology to make us too impersonal. And so it's odd, when I heard about TechCon, I was like, all right, great. It's going to be virtual, right? And they're like, no, we're going to do it in person. I'm like, you're telling me that we're still getting together in person to learn about technology when we could do it virtually? They're like, yes, because what you can't get even though we want the tools, there's something about the human experience. And many of us are looking for tech to remove the most important part of the transaction, that human experience. And so how can we humanize each interaction? And so here's what we're seeing going into 2026 and beyond. I feel like Buzz Lightyear, right? It's not having technology. Some of you like your name, ma'am? Julie? Julie, you're going on the road with me, because I tell you, you make me feel good about myself. All my bad jokes, they fall right here and you catch them all, so I love it, right? So, wife, Julie's coming with us, okay? There we go. Okay, so I had to ask but tell at the same time, so it's... See, there we go. See, I just don't learn at all. We just here working, right? So it's me and Julie. So it's not having access to technology. What is it? Can you use it? How do you use it? If someone says, man, she was a great agent, he was a great agent, are they going to say, yeah, man, like the tech platforms that they use were top tier? Probably not, right? And so we want to make sure that we understand that. Now, here's where I'm talking to some of you in the room. Like, why do we resist technology? Sometimes it's because of overwhelm. I ask, how many of you already have enough stuff in your life already? And you're like, I don't just have enough stuff, I have enough stuff, right? And so then, some of us, we aren't on video because we have a fear of looking awkward. Some of us, we just have these habits. We've been in the industry for more than 10 years, and I don't feel like changing. Well, this is where we want to make sure that we understand the benefits and what the benefits are as opposed to the challenges. And so now, here's the key. We can modernize without becoming mechanical. Some of us are afraid of adopting tech. Some of us are nervous because, yeah, but I don't want to sound like a robot, right? Some of us, we don't do scripts and dialogues because we don't want to sound like a robot. Some of us, we don't follow procedures and we don't have SOPs because we don't want to act like a robot, all for the wrong reasons. So we can still adapt, learn, simplify, but most importantly, stay authentic. What does AI stand for? Absolutely incorrect. It is authentic interaction, right? Some of you are like, dang, I like this guy, sort of, right? Authentic interaction. At the end of the day, we're going to use artificial intelligence so that we can have applied intelligence so that we can create authentic interaction. Without the authentic interaction, everything else is for nothing. And then these are just 5 ways that you can apply that this week. Just some easy stuff. We can send 5 personalized video messages. I would love to be one of your video messages. I will respond back with the video, right? We can categorize our database. Make sure we aren't giving our pearls to pigs. That precious time that we have, make sure that we're putting that on our dream clients. And then the one that I really want us to look at is that last bullet point. Build one consistent follow-up system. Right? I don't think you have a lead generation problem. For most of us, it is a follow-up issue. We know the number of, or the stats are out about the number of transactions and conversions that happen after the 12th interaction or the 12th contact, but we stop at 2, right? We stop at 3. And then here's the filter. This is what we're going to ask ourselves before we apply any new technology, before we adopt it, before we pay for it. Is this going to help me serve better? Right? You all are here not because you're in this industry. Yes, we want the rewards, but you all are servants at heart. If you aren't a servant, you're not here today because you're not trying to figure out how to get better. You're off taking advantage of someone, right? So will this help me stay connected? Will this help me communicate? I know that was one of the things. Will this help me communicate more clearly? And then will this make the experience feel more personal? And then high tech may get you noticed, but high touch is what gets you chosen. So some of you are being noticed and then not selected. And that's not good enough. I hope that today that frustration, that pattern ends. And so here's what we look at. Here's the goal of everything, every tool. This is why the team put TechCon 2026 together. It's so that they can give you tools, but then they want to make sure that you keep the heart. They want you to be, yes, knowledgeable. They want you to be prepared. They want you to be forward thinking and then applying information. But they also want us to keep the heart of this. They want you to say, okay, I know what it's like to be on the other side of the table if you're a home buyer or seller. right? I've worked with people who have gone through this. Keep that heart. And so we want to be modern enough to adapt. We want to be disciplined enough to implement. But most importantly, we want to be human enough to connect. Because without authentic interaction, without connection, then we will run the risk of being replaced by all of the alien robots that are coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's what I want to tell you also. It has been a privilege. It has been a treat. I don't take lightly that you all were here. So thank you for the privilege of your time. One of the things that how I always end my presentation has been the same for the past 13 years. I think we learned this most during the pandemic, that everyone has stuff going on. Now, I don't know your stuff, and thank God you all don't know my stuff, right? But here's what I want to tell you all. I don't know when the last time you heard this was. I don't know if it was this morning. I don't know if it's been decades, weeks, or years, but I want to tell you sincerely that I love you, right? So Uncle Neal loves you no matter how much of a degenerate you are. You can't be worse than me. So I love you, and here's why I think that's important. Because things are happening. The world is a hard place today, right? No matter where you are, no matter what you believe, no matter the color or how you vote, the world is a hard place for all of us. And so if you have not heard that you're loved, just know that you're loved today. But then here's my most important ask with a K of you today. If there's someone that you love, that you care about, that you haven't told them, please tell them today. Don't text them, call them, send them a video message. If they respond back and say, "What's wrong? Are you sick?" All that means is that you have done a horrible job communicating your love and appreciation up to this point. What we want to do, we want to communicate love using our text so frequently that the day you don't send it, they say, "What's wrong with you? Are you sick?" That's how you know you've done your job. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. It has been an honor.